afternoon. The last panel session, but last but not least, and then there's a presentation afterwards, of course. Before we step into the topic and I introduce the, a lovely panelist, so I'm sure everyone has kind of someone next to them. Please turn to that person and just tell them you are amazing. Just do that. Whoever's next to you, say you are amazing.
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Even if you don't think so, just say it. You are amazing. You can do it too. Good. So I just want to shift the energy. I know it's been a long day of just absorbing the information. So hopefully this session will be light and a delight as we speak about women-owned SMEs. And before I step into the topic, I just want to do a quick survey. How many here think that women-owned SMEs have their own specific challenges that male-owned SMEs don't have? If you agree, raise your hand. Okay, that's, I think, is it majority or is it how's the voting? Or is it 50-50?
It's the least.
Can you raise your hands again? Let's see.
No, it's the minority.
Okay. No, I think, yeah. 50-50, almost 50-50. So I'll first of all introduce our panelists, and then we'll engage more about the topic and why we would like to cater to this topic. So we have with us, is this working? Is this working? Yes? Okay. We have with us, the male perspective, Rashid Al Barwani, who was in the previous panel session, so he warmed up the stage, thank you. He's the founder and director of RevGX Fitness, and he has mentioned that he introduced a new fitness concept in Oman, and it became widely spread across Muscat. He considers himself an entrepreneur by nature, a creator of innovative concepts and ideas. He's also a community activist and the founder of Clean Environment for a Fitter Nation initiative. So that's Rashid Barwani. Can we please just to get the energy up, round of applause for him. And we have the big smile, Nadia Al Lawati, director of 23 Degrees North. She graduated from the Glasgow McIntosh School of Architecture.
I get that a lot.
Yeah?
I get agriculture a lot.
Architecture in June 2006. She became the first UK qualified female Omani architect to achieve the Royal Institute of British Architecture accreditation in August 2010. A round of applause to Nadia. Shaima Al Lawati. She's the founding partner of Oman and senior sustainability and social investment advisor at the Sustainable Square Oman. She's a pioneer and thought leader in CSR and sustainability practices in Oman. Over the past 15 years, she initiated and led successful sustainable and social project roles in multinational organizations, established CSR departments, and taken over leadership of organizations in need of support. Her experience includes stakeholder engagement, women entrepreneurship, and business responsibility. She pursued graduate studies from University of Cambridge, UK, in sustainable business and cross-sector partnership. A warm welcome to Shaima. And we have Nasra Mohammed Al-Adawi. She's the partner and business development manager at Tawasul Global Connection Center. She overlooks the business expansion side. She has over 20 years experience of professional working mainly with small businesses. She's also a coach, otherwise known as Nasra, the coach, supporting individuals to realize their goals. At Tawasul, she took part in building women capacity, as well as delivering over 50 programs that trained more than 700 people from 97 civil organizations in Oman. She's also a public speaker and a newspaper columnist. Warm welcome to Nasra. And now, it brings us to our topic. So I'll join them, this beautiful setting. Is the voice is clear? So our topic is unlocking the potential of women-owned SMEs as engines of economic growth. And of course, that itself is a very loaded sentence. We have the word potential itself. So what do we mean by potential, woman potential? Perhaps our panelists each have a different understanding of what it means to unlock the potential of women-owned SMEs. And then we have another loaded word, which is engines of economic growth. So not only realizing women's potential, but also for them to contribute to the growth of the economy. And as we step into the topic, we'll discuss more about the current situation that we see in Oman and what steps can we take to unlock that potential. But before that, there's a certain perspective that usually we might not talk about on stage. Usually we might talk about it after the conference or during the coffee breaks, or we whisper to each other's ear. But when we're here on stage, we don't bring it up. And that is regarding why should we even talk about women-owned SMEs? Why is there a need to even talk about a specific theme regarding women? So I'll ask the panelists not to shoot the messenger, but I just want to convey that there is a perspective out there that it kind of became a trend to talk about women topics. If we talk about leadership, if we talk about the workforce and employment, we talk about women as well. And likewise, we're talking about SMEs, and here we are engaging on a topic specific to women. Is this just a trend, or is it worth our time to actually be here and dedicate a topic regarding women-owned SMEs? So to kick this off, I'd like to hear from each of the panelists in terms of what do you truly believe, and to honestly share your input regarding specifically catering to women-owned SMEs. I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to ask whoever is brave and wants to confront this, please go ahead.
Can I start?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your interesting question. From my experience, I worked in private sector companies before I started my own business. Within the consultancy business that we do, we evaluate many social projects that big companies do, such as supporting SMEs and starting up businesses and all. I had experience in talking to many women, Omani women, and it is not only, I would say, that women have special needs when it comes to starting up businesses or special challenges. It's also, I found that it is women tend to sustain or have chances to sustain their businesses more than men. And this is from experience, and this is not something that I came up with. This is evident from more than one report or three reports we have done in the region from something called social return of investment. Again, going back to what I think my point of view is, basically, I think why women do better or sustain better when they start up their businesses, because we tend to give more than 100%. Maybe we want to prove ourselves, so we give more. Secondly, I think the surrounding environment is much more helpful for a woman. And I heard people saying here on the stage, like, I had the support from my husband, I had the support from my mother, my community, my family. So as women, we are not meant to culturally bring money to the house. It's always man's job. So it's okay if I didn't bring money for a year or so till I actually pick up myself. Furthermore, I found out the setup of the NGOs and the communities around, like, the Omani Women Associations, the other NGOs do support women and provide, we want somebody to talk to, somebody to share our thoughts, get some advice from here and there. I believe women tend to ask for more help and get used to whatever services are there. Okay. So yes, I do think women have a different setup when it comes to businesses, and this is just what I wanted to share.
Okay, so you do see value in focusing on the topic of women-owned SMEs, because you also see the potential of them being more sustainable.
Yes, and they actually, women usually take risks, but they are much more careful risks. other than men. I don't know if you agree on that or not.
Well, I agree. I think if you look at the type of businesses women embark into, maybe this is the next topic, they take less risk than men. But just looking at the overall split of the population, male present in Oman 60% and female 40%. So if we were to focus more on the male, then we will lose the 40%. And across the board, we're already short in the number of SMEs that we need to support the economy. So regardless of the privilege of helping a woman, we actually need to increase the numbers. And without the women participation, we'll not have enough numbers into the economic growth. And I personally believe that women bring out different dimension into the subject. I mean, not having a woman in the business, we are lacking the women's perspective into the economy. I mean, when you have a woman partner, I think they have a different perspective on risk, on operation, on how you manage the business, and on creativity. So if you could imagine the energy sector, for example, which lacks the women entrepreneurs, if we had more of the women entrepreneurs in the energy sector, in the power sector, in the agriculture, I think it will be a whole different economic perspective as we have it right now.
Okay,
So there is a need for that.
We'll touch upon the sector. But so, yes, go ahead. You can. Can you hear Nasra?
Can you hear me?
No? Mike?
No?
Higher, yes.
I have a soft voice. Sorry about that. I think also we need more business owned by women because at the end of the day, you know, to serve the society has needs, and businesses are here to serve society. So you need both businesses. So there are businesses that are delivered by, you know, women, which male would not be, I don't know, it's not being biased, but women would understand that need better than the man. For example, the fashion world and makeup. Okay, we see makeup artists who are male, but women would do better in that field, and all other services.
That's debatable, right?
Can I just play the devil's advocate and just disagree with everyone?
Ooh, we like that.
I mean, as a female entrepreneur, I'm very proud to be an Omani woman, and I'm very proud because I feel Oman is very progressive in its equality between men and women. And to have a session devoted to just tapping into the economic potential of women and not men, I mean, I think it's a little bit, am I allowed to say, sexist?
She whispered. Okay.
Yeah, I think that,
So
I mean,
gender biased.
gender
The word,
biased is a more PC word. Okay, thank you very much, Rym. I think there's a confusion between encouraging female-owned SMEs and saying that female-owned SMEs have different challenges to the male-owned SMEs. I completely agree that we need female-owned SMEs for the reasons that you highlighted and the reasons that you highlighted. At the same time, I agree with what Shaima said about tendencies for women to maybe be more sustainable. I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity for women that men don't have. You know, first of all, the pressures of being the sole breadwinner. And as a mother, being a female-owned SME has given me so much more flexibility to spend time with my children and prioritize in a way that I want because, you know, I have the ultimate. Yeah, so I think that contributes to what you were saying.
Exactly.
But yes, those are the things that I agree
So
with.
I see that there are unique challenges to women-owned SMEs, but you do agree, as Rashid mentioned and Nasra, that we do want to have more.
You want to encourage it, yes, and you want to.
Yes, because I think still women would need that initial push to start up, because once they're in, they found out, as you mentioned, it is much more suitable for me. It provides flexible hours. It brings money. I'm happier. I'm proving myself. I'm growing. I have the support of my family, and you know, it just goes on and in a positive way.
Okay.
But not everybody is ready to get into if you're scaring them with, you know, big words and.
But that's applicable to men as well.
Yes, well, in general, business has no gender. I mean, Someone goes into a restaurant, they don't ask, is this restaurant owned by a male or female, or is this factory? They don't ask that question, but it's the process of getting into that product, end product. That's the challenge, I guess, we're talking about.
And Shaima mentioned they require a push. Would you
Yes,
agree that they require specific
well, they're already
encouragement?
positioned in a much better situation to start up a business, especially for those who have completed their studies and they're at home, or the male is already providing. So they're already in a position better than a man who has to worry about a lot of things, establishing life, getting married, and all these life expenses at that age. Getting into business might not be the number one thought in their minds, where a female counterpart can and a better position than men.
Let's do a quick survey based on that point. So how many agree that women are better positioned or better advantaged to start up their own businesses? If you agree, raise your hand.
I agree.
A few. Okay. A few. So if you mentioned that they need an extra push, I want to pick on that as well. Why would you think? What are the perceptions out there that women perceive that you would say they might need an extra push to step into entrepreneurship?
Maybe I would see, I refer to the studies I have done. One part of what we do is something called social return of investment, where we go and talk and engage with communities and men and women for different CSR programs. I got recently, I was evaluating a program of Imran in Taji and Zari. Maybe most of you know about it. They have actually done it without, looking at the gender. It was open to everybody, men and women. Okay. And going and talking to those women, sometimes you find women that didn't or never thought of that as an idea. So they needed, I wouldn't say it is the same everywhere in Oman. We are very privileged in getting equal opportunities, but sometimes our families don't think that it is the time for us to go and start up a business, or why would you actually go, or just stay at home, or be a housewife, or whatever. However, one of their ways, Imran's ways to actually unlock the potential, was getting women into something called springboard training.
Okay.
There, they actually got women from different sectors, and they affected everybody. There were women who started their businesses, who didn't start their business, continued their studies, and got employed at the end. So the potential is there, and I do see that sometimes families overprotect their kids and overprotect especially the female because they just don't want them to go through go through all the hassle, if there is a hassle. But again, seeing what they have achieved, those women, it was really heartwarming. And they really, some women sustained even further than 5 years comparing to their male colleagues who maybe gave up from the second year or third year.
Okay. So given the opportunity for awareness, and then you mentioned that the challenge sometimes of family pressure that might not make women step up. And Nasra, you've worked with as well, supported women SMEs. Did any specific challenges or needs come up?
I think...
Can you hear Nasra?
I think one of the challenges is, we talked about it earlier, that confidence, building up of confidence that, women have a specific nature is we want to be there in the business and we would like to be successful in it. And we have fear as a woman nature that we fear failure. So we tend to analyze the risk a lot, more than...
Rashid says overanalyze.
Overanalyze the risk more than anything, and we calculate everything. So this one is one of the elements that you see women prefer to do home businesses and don't scale up because of the fear, or go into business they are traditional, or non-innovative businesses because they feel comfortable in that zone.
Okay.
So that's one of the areas, how to build the confidence of women entrepreneurs so then they can. Another thing is, women don't like to voice out. You see a lot of time, men who are speaking up, and women like to be on the backside. So that's one of the things that once you build the confidence and then you build up your voice as a woman, then you will be able to, narrate your success story as a business.
And
Or even go out and sell your product.
okay. So you're saying there's a type of behavioral element that women should be encouraged to just be more outspoken and go out there. You've also mentioned, you touched upon certain services that women might feel more comfortable working in certain areas of business. And we do face that. We see that most women are going to micro home businesses, not even touching the small, business sector. So in your, Nadia, network as well with other female entrepreneurs, what kind of businesses do you see women stepping into from within your experience?
Well, traditionally, there's been a lot, like you've mentioned, abayas and cupcakes. But I see, like, I know on the conclave, remember there was Mishan, the dates, and Joha, she was the first Omani quantity surveyor, and she's very, very ambitious. And I think the network that I know, they're probably more in the medium sector. There's a lot. They started off in cupcakes and, baking from home, but now they're moving into restaurants. And you can see the restaurant scene in Oman is picking up with these women. The Palace, for instance, is, all over Instagram. And the Riyadh Awards, for example, last year, the small category was won by all women. The medium, the small commercial was won by Mishan, and then Mia Najah won the service sector, whereas men were in the medium. Now, I'm not sure if this is because we're women. We're only in small, but we won in small. We did really well in small. And I think that when the time is right for our businesses, we would move into the medium and then maybe one day into the bigger. I don't think it has anything to do with our gender. Sorry, can you hear me when I look here? I can hear myself loud.
With fear, as Nasra point, do you think there's an element of fear to move to medium?
No. I don't think it's gender specific. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I think the same challenges that men face are the same challenges that women face. Like, Rashid, are you small or medium?
I'm still small.
Small. Yeah, so there is, when you're ready to become medium, to grow, your business, it's a science. It's an emotion, but it's also a science. You need to have the numbers, you need to have the performance, you need to have proved yourself, and then that's how you build up the confidence. Men also need confidence.
But if you research enough, you will look into the feminine business. They've been started by female. And in a sector that is more into service and retail, but you don't see many women into the power, energy, agriculture, and those are the really contribute of the economy in the GDP overall. Those are the money making. Those are, if you start up, let's say an abaya shop, when there is 100 between abaya shop, there is abaya shop. Okay, what's the chances of you growing into another level? Into becoming a medium, becoming even a bigger enterprise. So if you already set yourself small, and whoever comes behind you or after you is also following the same steps, even maybe subbing out from the small, and that small, there is maybe 5 or 6 channels that are branched from the same small, so they are just getting smaller rather than growing bigger by themselves. So I think we need more women in the bigger sector, the money-generating sector, and set a role model for the new starters so that they can follow the bigger businesses rather than branching out from smaller businesses, because you will not grow if you branch out from small, you're just getting smaller.
I'd like to challenge that and then give to Nasra is, why would you think it's necessary to, part of unlocking potential, let's say, to encourage more women to be in the medium size? Why do you think it's important?
Well,
why not remain in the small if that's where women would like to play at?
Well, they can remain small, but I think we need women in all levels. I mean, business is a multi-dimension, and if you don't have that women perspective in the medium, then it just remains a male-dominant environment where you'll only have a male perspective.
Nasra? Yes.
I mean, I basically agree with Rashid that you actually start small, but then you have to actually have that vision that I want to grow my business. Because if you think, okay, I'm going to be a home business all the time, you will never actually expand. And then that's how you really don't contribute much, because that would be ending that you are more self-employed and not really a small business anyways. So if you'd like to really contribute more and sustain your business, because at the end of the day, if you are home-based, you'll not be able to sustain, for God forbids, for anything. But once you are scaling up and thinking big, that's how your organization really grows. You need a bigger team, you need a bigger resources, and that slowly you will grow your organization.
Excellent. And as you've mentioned as well, because we have as well people mentioning that, oh, most females are going to abayas, cupcakes, and dates. And then you just mentioned that there are some examples who were actually able to grow. They scaled from that. So from your experience, when you started up as an entrepreneur, did you do it more as a lifestyle choice, or did you have a vision that one day I want this to be big? Spotlight.
I set up 23 Degrees North 4 years ago with the ambition to do something different with the built environment. I'm inspired by the landscape, the culture, the villages and the interior, and I believe that architecture can do more than what it's doing right now for the people. And that's how we started 23 Degrees North. And I think that's all I wanted to do. You know, I just wanted to make a difference. And I wanted to make a big difference, and I wanted to make it to be efficient. I wanted it to be successful. I wanted to be able to sustain a comfortable lifestyle. I wanted to be able to attract talent and pay them what they're worth, provide career paths for them, you know, help them grow. So with all of this, you need an economic potential, I think, as per your title. But I never really thought about, am I going to be contributing to Oman's economy? You know, I was just thinking about, am I going to be making a difference? Am I going to be contributing to the cultural scene of the built environment? But I think now that I'm in it, now that I'm dubbed an entrepreneur, and I'm attending panels like this, and the economic outcome, and you know, these things become something that we talk about. Of course, you know, like I said earlier, when the indicators are right, when it's time for us to grow, when we've achieved those initial objectives, then, you know, new objectives will be there. And, you know, maybe those new objectives will be to have an economic impact in the country. But to answer your question, that wasn't what I set out to do.
But by taking that step, you're able to then, I think, maybe it is linked to gain the confidence to then feel like I can step into the next phase.
It's an organic growth, I think. You know, you do something, you prove yourself able to meet certain expectations that you have of yourself and your audience, and then, you know, you take the natural step. I think we're very lucky that there's a lot of help and mentorship with Riyada and other bodies that they're able to help us see that and tap into that.
Okay. And Shaima, you've mentioned the training programs when you evaluate them, and you see the impact that it has. So usually when you evaluate whether the program achieved the impact for the segment, what are the key areas that you look at? So if you want to talk about women-owned SMEs being successful, what elements would you look at?
See, when we come to evaluate, of course, there is each company or each sponsor of a project, the company who is doing the project, the CSR project, have intended change and unintended change. So maybe the intended change would be they would like to enable those women to start up, or men and women, to start up their businesses and be and have a sustainable income. However, when we get there and we talk to those people, we found out it's not only this was achieved, the intended change, It was the development of interpersonal skills, the enhancement of their social status, because many women and men did say that with all that support, they did actually have better social status. People started knowing them in their villages and communities, started being invited to such forums and summits. This definitely added to them. They are becoming known. One of the business idea was the agriculture, the greenhouses. They started eating healthier. That wasn't in their plan when Imran initially started. But because they started growing healthier crops, it was available. It was used and consumed by the communities around. And it goes on and on, And we analyzed this and we put, it's giving it a monetizing value. So it's not just only talks. So we analyze the value and we give it a number. So for each 1 riyal this company has invested in that program, how much was the result out of it? And in Imran, we found it's more than 2.34 riyals for each 1 riyal. There are other projects that were done in Emirates, and being Sustainable Square has the main headquarters in Emirates. One of the projects that we were evaluating was Soga of Sheikh Khalifa Fund. It was basically, again, enabling women to, in the handicrafts, doing handicrafts and starting their own businesses. The value, it was for each 1 dirham was more than 6.2 dirhams. So you do see how much change such projects and such programs are actually helping those women and those entrepreneurs. And I do urge, we do see a lot of similar programs that complementing each other, but unless we step back and evaluate what is there and how can we offer something different or something complementary, I think there we can minimize the gap that those entrepreneurs were talking about and those big companies are talking. They're willing to help, they're there to help, but this dialogue, this gap could be fulfilled with such a dialogue and such an engagement that me as an SME also is providing as a service.
And I'm assuming those programs were catered to both genders. There wasn't something woman-specific.
They were both genders,
yes.
But at a point we were discussing internally, like the women did so well that they were reconsidering the criteria of actually selecting. And this is we didn't want to influence on this, but again, because they want successful startups, they want successful stories. So maybe the quota would be different. Maybe they would have 40 to rather than 50-50.
It was mainly female success stories, is that?
Yes,
I
yes.
see. And someone did mention previously to me as well is that there's so much talk about women, how about us now? Pay attention. And it's interesting you mentioned now that you actually went back to the criteria to make sure as well.
You guys will not be there next time. Total elimination.
That's male success stories. Rashid, you picked on the concept of we want more women in different sectors. What sectors would you see are more effective or would contribute mostly to the economy that we encourage women to step into and they're currently not there?
See, example for Nadia, she got into a sector that she has a background of. That's her academic qualifications and passion as well. So as a start, I think in the education stage, more women, if they get into the technical side of things, progressing into employment, and then maybe later on they can pick businesses that are relevant to their experiences. And so forth. That's how you encourage it right from the grassroots.
So in terms of we can tap into current female professionals within their industries.
Yes.
And not just start at the university stage, but also current professionals who can.
Yes, if you were to just pick a woman and ask her to jump into the energy sector where they don't have a clue of
the experience.
The experiences and the knowledge, it would be a challenge. And you say, I'm a woman and I have no opportunities. There'd be a lot of excuses, but I think even a male cannot jump into something that they don't have a background of. So you need to take a step back into the education level and then progress from there.
Yeah, and there's also a point, especially since we talk about economic growth, oftentimes the concepts that keep coming is job creation, although again that's debatable about why we're pushing SMEs to contribute to creating jobs, but that is the fact that, you know, part of the local context is for SMEs to support in, you know, creating job opportunities. And then there's also the concept of innovation that's been coming up more recently in terms of not depending on oil. So we want the SMEs to also, you know, kind of diversify the sectors. So we spoke about job creation in terms of one moment to move towards medium-sized enterprises. How about the concept of innovation in how they can, perhaps through innovation, contribute to the economy?
Can I just say something about the job creation? Because
Yes.
I did a little bit of research, prepared for the panel, and I found that female-owned entrepreneurs actually hire 85% of women in the senior positions within their SMEs, as opposed to 10% only in male-owned SMEs. So I think the job creation is a really important thing. I think women like working with women. And also, last week I attended an event where they highlighted the 4 big traits that future CEOs will have, and it included forgiveness and compassion. And these are CEOs across the board. You know, this wasn't female CEOs, but compassion and forgiveness are very female traits.
Yes.
So, you know, I think this is looking really, really good for women. Just wanted to say that.
Yes.
I think also, I mean, a woman entrepreneur or a woman business owner, they always think about their suppliers because they normally don't think about themselves. Here, you see even, for example, we see businesses like in handicraft a lot in Oman. They get local suppliers, small local or individual talented people, and then what happens is they train them according to their product specification. And that was really a lot of success stories that we see in Oman, particularly in handicraft, that a woman entrepreneur would actually search for local suppliers or talents, and they would also build their capacity. And that's really great. And then those would also start their businesses.
That's very
yes.
true. I was going exactly to say the same thing. Although we were debating like having businesses like small and medium and hiring Armanis would cost more, again, women tend to benefit their women colleagues more than hiring non-Armanis. And this is because of the social obligation and because they believe if they can survive, they have this, you know, the feeling towards helping the others in the community. So again, going back to different engagement that we have done, not only in Muscat, it is all around Oman as well as in Emirates and Qatar and other places. Women tend to help other women and they give them the chance. You know, some social projects were intended to be for a short period of time. Maybe men, and excuse me of, you know, putting this, but that's again from my findings. They did it for that period, the mentioned period, and then they stopped. Women continued even after those programs stopped, you know, providing any help or any support, because they already had a system going on, and they already felt that they enjoyed what they did, and it was part of their vision, their passion, something that they love. So they continued. Even, you know, like small ideas such as Ramadan ration that always comes in Ramadan, and people or companies tend to buy food stuff and distribute it. There was a company who actually invested in women, training women to start up their restaurant or home-based kitchens with all the hygiene and all taken care of, and having packed food to be distributed to those needy families. So they actually did 2 in 1. They enabled women to be SMEs, and of course doing it during Ramadan to have this goodwill part of it. When they came back to it, when we went back, those women did it for the whole year. And their houses were open for everybody. And you know, it is from social, it went to profitable. And again, it has the other niche of being a goodwill as well.
So in a way, I hear the sense that women in business are also at the same time catering to social issues. So not purely profit-making, but also considering those elements. Would that make women in here perhaps less aggressive in business?
I would agree with less aggressive, because male will tend to think on a high productivity side of thing. You would give him a task and he will think, how can I maximize productivity? Will not think so much compassionately with their hearts. They will think more on a business perspective and commercial side of things. That's why when you put them together, that's when they complement and have a profitable business that benefits society.
So before we,
I think also women are very good with multitasking.
okay.
So I think that's one of the things. Men tend to think one thing till they get it done, but women like to do things slowly. So that also helps women to be, I don't know, deliver better maybe.
And I guess for a diversified economy, we would need both skill sets to be encouraged. And Shaima, you touched upon initiatives, training programs that were done to support that. What other ways are there to support women into entrepreneurship and to contribute to the economy, besides programs, trainings? Yes, go ahead, Nasra.
I think capacity building is good, but I think when you talk about ecosystem, you need a whole round of support. So we've heard earlier they're talking about the services support. We talked about mentorship. We talked about coaching. I think once entrepreneur starts the business, you learn the skills, but when you want to practice, you always need someone to get back to when you have a problem. So the coaching is always a good start to keep the person in check, particularly when you have problems, because you need someone to talk to. For example, I'm not doing well with the business. What do I do now? Those are the things that are not available. For example, clinics. Business clinics that could support businesses when they think, okay, we've run out of ideas of how do we support or how do we scale up our business that could support the business. Another thing is networking. Events like this, the more of this would allow women also to participate and network. We normally network through weddings and social events, but we seldom network on a professional level. So I
guys
think
are not there either. They're not in the weddings.
So I think networking is one of platform that would allow businesses to hear success story and also opportunity to exchange.
I'd like to also open the floor for, the audience with us. Is there any question or thoughts that come to your mind or something that came up during the discussion? Besides the need of coffee, that is. So would you agree with the sentiment? Like, I'll do another survey. So would you agree with the sentiment that we want to have more female entrepreneurs in medium-sized enterprises and then we lack that? Raise of hands. Okay. Now I'm going to ask that differently. Do you think that we also need more male businesses in medium-sized enterprises?
Of course.
Yes. Yes. Are there more men than women? If yes, raise your hand. Not sure? So the concept that comes a lot is the scaling up that you have mentioned, because we've touched upon the fact that women are being encouraged to step into entrepreneurship. And I think perhaps we have lots of platforms already that are supporting people to step into entrepreneurship, and perhaps what I sense is that most of the programs and initiatives are operating at that level in terms of encouraging more female entrepreneurs, and which is great because you also mentioned that point that we do want to encourage more women SMEs. They come with their diversified ideas. However, what are we doing in terms of the current small businesses to move into medium?
Can I
Yes.
just say something? I think one of the things that big private sector companies can help the small SMEs, the small and medium enterprises, is actually identify sectors or areas that could be a place for a good business idea and would provide a solution for so many challenges that we have in Oman. Like one example, my previous job was, I was a CEO of Oman Road Safety Association. I know, in fact, that starting up a business and providing solutions in road safety in Oman is a very profitable business, you know. Okay. Not many are tackling that. Even, you know, bringing technologies. Tourism is boosting. It's not only a traditional, you know, restaurants and all that we need, or hotels. We need something more. Like I went to Jabal Al-Akhdar. Usually when I go to the mountains in Thailand, I'm just comparing. On the way, I do see so many little shops all over, you know, all over the place. They're selling umbrellas, they're selling the snacks, they're selling souvenirs. We don't have a souvenir shop, local souvenir shop, that sells, you know, T-shirts or keychains or all those local gifts. There is a lot of potential for such a small and medium ideas, enterprises. Instead of just, you know, generalizing or talking large or, you know, vague, maybe we can have a focus like Oman is boosting, and we can identify sectors: tourism, agriculture, road safety, and we start up with milestones like achieving. And even those SMEs, when they start and they have the right support, they could actually have qualified Omanis, and they are being able to, you know, to pay for their salaries and sustain their employees. They have, and so on, and they grow. So my point is, it's not only, you know, some businesses can start small and then grow. Some businesses, depends on the idea, they can start medium and grow bigger. So don't limit if the feasibility study suggests that.
Excellent. And also can add to the point that if the person has a specialized background, they can jump right to the major enterprise, yes. Not having to go through that kind of chronological. Nasra is reflecting here. Would you agree, Nasra?
Yeah, I'm actually agreeing, but I'm thinking one stage before. For example, we've heard about universities who would like to do something, and they would like to encourage entrepreneurship. What we could do then, maybe generate innovative idea, then do boot camps so they could, you know, think beyond the traditional businesses, because the youth they have great ideas, but we are not exploring them. So we need to have those boot camps of entrepreneurs who would come with business ideas that would also connect them with people who would like to fund them. So that way we would actually come up with new businesses that we have not thought of before.
You know, in Oman, just knowing that there are more than 10 innovations in road safety by Omani students from SQU and other colleges that are outstanding. They are new, but they have not seen or got any company to adapt them and to actually take them to the next level. It could be a business idea for a product, a very useful product that provides, you know, a solution that enhances road safety. And like when you go globally, there is Al-Ittihad Al-Europi, or, you know, those unions that encourage and enforce other companies like automobile companies in Germany or all to invest in such innovations to be used in automobile sector.
In their sector.
Yeah, but we don't have here in Oman. That's why nobody would give it a chance or would even know, you know. I knew because I was working in that sector. And يعني قيسي عليها in every sector. Must be different ideas and different brilliant products. And Injaz Oman is one of the programs that actually tackles this in young entrepreneurs. And I was one of the volunteers who actually was mentoring a group in Sama'il, small young girls. And they came with an idea of a fountain from recycled material. And that was very different. But they didn't go anywhere because they didn't find the support. So there is a lot what is happening here in Oman. If we can dig around and try to, take them along or again, have milestones on what do we want to achieve and try to help those who are already existing to take them to the next level.
Yeah, in terms of there's potential out there, there's capacity out there, but perhaps the ecosystem or platform that can support that. Now just to wrap up then, I would like to ask each of you if there's one key takeaway that you would like to share today, one key takeaway in terms of unlocking the potential of women-owned SMEs to contribute effectively in the economy. What would that key thing be for each of you? Rashid.
Well, I would like to see women step up and raise the bar and get into bigger businesses.
I see. Lovely. Step up. Sounds good.
Step up.
Sounds good. Nadia?
I'm going to say, just do what inspires you, just do it because that's what you want to do. Don't do it because you're a woman and they're forcing you to do it or you have to tick a box, do it because you really want to do it. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. You will contribute eventually. Just be patient.
Excellent. Shaima?
I would say whoever has an idea and believes in his business, men or women, just do it. And for those who would say, I'm not sure if it would be successful or not, if you have this little bit of doubt, then you won't be successful, trust me. You believe in yourself 100% and never look back. Once you take a decision, it is up to you to make it successful.
Excellent. Nasra?
I think one of the ways forward is don't look at the challenges and go beyond, because even a closed door would be open one day. And if you can't find the key, create a key by your own.
Excellent. Thank you. From all your messages, there's a key message of always going forward. Because when we come together in such forums, true, there's challenges, but we just need to keep going. And just to summarize the key points as well that you have raised in terms of that might be more female specific is that, yes, there are many women entrepreneurs in terms of the abaya, the cupcake businesses, and that is okay. That is not something for us to shun or for them to be out of micro business. They are creating jobs for themselves at one value, and you've shared examples as well where there were times where some of those have moved to a medium-sized enterprise. They have, stepped into and started up a restaurant. You've also mentioned the importance to encourage them to move into other sectors. We can tap into current women professionals who have extensive experience in certain fields to step into the SME sector. You've mentioned as well that we don't necessarily have to start from small, but we can, step into medium-sized enterprises. And Nasra as well, since you're, very much into the coaching as well, that it's important to also cater that although these comments might not always be gender-specific, but there are some elements, behavioral, that might be more prone for women in terms of to step up more, to take more the initiative, to encourage that drive. So I thank you all very much, the panelists. A round of applause for them.
You did a really good job to do that.